Good evening, everybody. Welcome once again. We're in the midst of WWE Week on USA Network because that is the paradigm shift. No more Fox for SmackDown. But that doesn't matter because it's an episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Encyclopedia that's coming in off of a red hot All Out from AEW. I am the good, the Reverend Jason Todd, and with me, the opposite side of the coin, also known as the bad, the devil on your shoulder, the devil's advocate himself.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. That's so polite. That's not going to last very long. Don't worry, guys.
Fuck off.
There we are. And with us, completing the trio's champions of podcasting, as I prefer to delude myself into thinking, the encyclopedia himself.
I can't say anything after that one.
Did I?
No, Rob.
All right. Well,
Guys, yeah. Look, we're fresh off of All Out. I'm gonna kick it right over to the Devil's Advocate. You watched that show. I personally know the results of the show. I have not had a chance to sit and watch it yet. I want to hear your thoughts. Oh, how was it, man?
well. First of all, I have to give AEW credit because for having another pay-per-view 2 weeks after the last one, they delivered. It was a very good card. And I think we talked about this last week where we were saying we thought maybe they should have built it differently, where they should have had a certain set of matches for the one show and a certain set of matches for the second show. But they managed to pull it off. I mean, all the matches to me were average or above. Again, I'm gonna have to. I apologize. I'm gonna have to pick on Mercedes Moné again. I think she had the worst match of the night, and I don't think it was a bad match. It's just, they didn't click, the two of them at times, and I was surprised because Sheeta pretty much can have a match with a broomstick and make it look interesting, and at times it was a tough watch. Um, I'm just going to skip around a little bit. The Continental title match, fun, really a good back and forth kind of fight. Takesha and Okada, we got to do it.
And we're heading that way.
Right, they kind of previewed that on Dynamite, right, when Don Callis said you didn't pin him. That's a match we got to have. I mean, they teased it.
Did you get any good time with them in the ring with each other, or did they keep them apart?
Here and there.
Okay.
Here and there, but it was what I liked about it is all the matches were kind of almost at a different pace. Like that match was really fast paced. I think there was one point they did a sequence of suplexes where they were all suplexing each other, and I read online some people were like they didn't love that sequence, but I was like, hey, at least it's something different. It didn't match all the other 40 matches. It didn't match other matches on the card. I kind of appreciated for that. Where is it really interesting to watch vertical suplexes happen over and over again? Not really, but it was a different feel. So I think they did a really good job with that. The tag team championship match was fine. You know, the Young Bucks are who they are, but you gotta love Claudio. I mean, the man can deliver. Singles match, tag team match, you gotta love him. So I mean, they did a good job. It was a good match. It wasn't great. It was good. It was entertaining. MJF versus Daniel Garcia. You know, Daniel Garcia made a good showing, didn't win, but everyone in the world except the good Reverend thought Daniel Garcia was going to win. So I mean, you know, what can you say? And on a sidebar, kudos to the Encyclopedia and the Devil's Advocate for running the table, going 8-0 in picks. And then we have the lowly Reverend at 7-1. Oh my God, a tragedy.
I picked the man who should have won.
He got his revenge at the end, and from what I've read, MJF is going on a little bit of a vacation, so it sounds like they're writing him off TV for a bit, which I don't get. Didn't he just come back? But whatever.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the Devil's Advocate for talking about himself in third person.
Like that?
Don't think I missed that.
I'm going to keep doing it if you like it so much. Pac and Will Ospreay, great match. Great match. A lot of fun. A lot of hard hitting action. Like I feel about Will Ospreay like I feel about Darby. Like I don't know how this man's gonna walk when he's 40 because they keep dropping him on his head and his neck, and like I realize he's trained and he can take it, but it's brutal. I mean, that was a brutal match.
I watched a clip of that German onto the apron,
Mm-hmm.
and
I mean, Pac really played up that neck angle. I mean, and Will Ospreay came out on top, but ouch. You know, every time they do stuff like that, I do like this. Like my neck starts to hurt a little bit because I don't know how they get away with all that impact. I mean, how many times you had your Benoit and you had your Taz, all those guys that needed that fusion surgery. I can only see that in his future. You know, with those neck vertebrae. So I get nervous when they do stuff like that. But a great match. What am I missing here? Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. Whatever. I mean, it was fine. It was a good street fight. Hopefully that feud is over. Statlander won, so let's have them both move on to other people. Enough is enough. Mercedes, I talked about already. The two matches in question, the last two matches, a lot of controversy surrounding the two matches. We have Swerve and Hangman first, and then we had they finished the show, and then of course Jack Perry and Danielson, and not so much what happened during that match, but what happened after. So let me throw quick thoughts out on those, and then we can discuss what the aftermath. I mean, Swerve and Adam Page. I mean, what were they going to do to each other that they hadn't already done? You know, they pulled out the staple guns. They slammed each other in the cages. There was a few spots with the cinder block. There was one point I think Page dropped Swerve on his back on the cinder block, and I was like, God, I don't know how they get away with this shit. Like, somebody's gonna get hurt, really hurt. I mean, it was great, and then the way the match ended, I'm sure you guys have heard with the needle and then the chair shot to the head. And I have to say, I'm not a fan of the head chair shots coming back. I'm afraid
I hope it wasn't
door.
to that. I hope it wasn't that they're coming back. I hope it's something that you don't see.
Well, we've seen it twice now in the last couple months.
That's true.
We saw Darby do it, and we've seen now Hangman do it. So I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you there. It's happened twice now.
Mm.
So, I mean, the needle to me, it was so quick. I didn't even, like, the first time it didn't even register to me that they did that. It just stuck it in his lip. It wasn't such a big deal. I don't know what people are going crazy about there. I was more concerned about the chair shot to the head more than anything else. Because they cut away. They almost like they cut away from it. And you can hear the impact, and they come back, and Swerve was out, and I was like, that impact, that was rough. Like, I don't know who made the decision to cut away, but I would have liked to have seen it, but at the same time, I'm glad I didn't, because it reverberated throughout the arena. You could hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I'm not a fan of the chair shots. They banned it for a reason. Let's stay out of that area. You know, let's just not do that. We're already dropping guys on their head and their neck and all that. Let's keep that head shot out of there. But look, a great match. I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this, you know, because Hangman seems to now be going after everybody, and I don't know where Swerve ends up. I heard he's taking some time off. And then, you know, we have the last match, the Danielson Jack Perry. I mean, Jack Perry was not going to win. I think we all knew that. I don't really know what the point of that match was, but how it ended. We had Christian come out, getting ready to cash in his title shot, and we had the Blackpool Combat Club come out and stop him, and then all of a sudden they turned on Bryan Danielson, and not only turned on him, but they put a plastic bag over his head and tried to suffocate him. You know, look, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's been done before. You guys remember Terry Funk did that to Ric Flair back in the 90s. So it's not a first time thing.
90s or 89?
It might have been 89. I can't remember exactly, but it was back then. It's far enough back. And then we get well. All right, let me finish it there. So it was a decent match. It was okay. The ending, I think, is what everybody's talking about.
It was Jack Perry versus Bryan Danielson,
right.
Basically. Yeah.
They gave Jack some offense, but I don't think anybody thought that the title was in jeopardy. So let me throw it out to you guys now. I've talked plenty. What do we think? What do you want to talk about as far as the card goes? Do you want to focus on those last two parts? I know the Encyclopedia. Let's throw it to him first. I know you had some strong feelings on some of the events occurred. So go ahead and take it away.
Sure. I made no effort to try to watch the show. And it wasn't because of lack of time or bandwidth to watch it. I heard about and saw photos of the plastic bag. I heard and saw photos of the Swerve Strickland Hangman Page incident. And I just thought, you know what? I really don't want to watch this. And I'm going to politely say I'm just not the audience for AEW when they do stuff like this. I'm not. To me, this was done for shock value. It wasn't necessary. It wasn't needed. Every time I feel like they're starting to roll again and really get on a really good path with their stories and their build up and their matches, then they got to do something like this. And I feel like they consistently, in my mind, at least for fans like me, set themselves back a few steps when they do something like this. It's not necessary. The Moxley basically came out on Dynamite, and to summarize, the impression I got from what he said was that him and Bryan had a goal in mind 2 years ago, and Bryan got soft. So I can understand jumping him, beating him up, throwing him out of Blackpool Combat Club, whatever. You try to suffocate the guy? That seems a little extreme to me. That seems like a new level of hate.
You know why I don't have a problem with that? Because it's Moxley.
Okay.
He's unhinged. Like, I think I love what Darby said. What are you drinking again? I thought that was like, wow, okay, we're going there, huh?
Yeah, the cheap shots thing happens quite a bit nowadays.
I don't have a problem with it because it's him. If it would have been anybody else on the show, let me take that back. If Hangman would have tried to kill Strickland, I would have been okay with that too.
And that's where, and because you said this a few weeks ago about CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. You didn't feel like they hated each other in that SummerSlam match enough. I felt like the Swerve Hangman match should have been about them beating the living shit out of each other, beginning to end. And some of those spots, including the needle, does that really prove you hate somebody, or you're trying to get shock value there? The chair shot to the head, believe it or not, I'm okay with that. Should it be done? No. I did hear recently, I don't know how true this is, and this is going to the Conrad Thompson podcasts, and I forget which one. It might have been 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff. Conrad indicated there's some magic with these chair shots that AEW is doing, so that it's actually safer than people realize. Whatever that means, I don't know.
Well, I'll say that when Hangman hit him with the chair did kind of collapse.
Yeah.
So maybe the chair's rigged that when it hits you,
that's
like the impact, it breaks apart, or something happens where the impact isn't as bad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They might have a trick chair, like, I don't know,
and I think that's what I think they were getting at. There's a way to shave down the chair or something was insinuated, right. Something like that. Maybe it was with Bruce Pritchard then, I don't know. Anyway, be that as it may, in that match with the hate that was going on between Hangman and Swerve, makes sense. If you wanted to do that ridiculous suffocation thing, don't think it's necessary, but I get it there. The needle thing, I'm like, all right, now you're just trying to draw attention to it. You know what I mean? It's not necessary. If you really hate someone, you're going to take the time to go throwing some, poking a needle through their lip. Who freaking cares? You were for what Hangman did to Swerve and what Swerve did to Hangman. They want to kill each other. What is the freaking needle going to do? It's just to get people talking, and that's where I think AEW screws up sometimes. Is they do a lot of stuff to shock people and to get people talking, and it doesn't necessarily fit in nicely with the storyline. So I was. As far as those two incidents went, I thought they were done incorrectly. They were done in the wrong situation. And I just think I was like, you know what? This is a cheap attempt at shock value to get people talking. I'm not playing into this. I'm not watching it. And I have no problem with anyone that chose to watch it or heard about it and then chose to watch it. That's totally fine. I get it. I heard it was a great show. For me, I was just like, you know what? I'm out.
Are you out
That's
for good, or are you out?
I watched Dynamite
Well, I'm trying. When you say you're out,
for
I'm
that
trying to get
show.
your level of
for that
out.
show.
You're just out for that show. Okay, that's
Hey,
all I'm
look, the
saying.
only time I said I was out for good on anything was when the necrophilia storyline. I turned off Raw, and it took me about 2
Oh,
weeks
the
to put it
Katie
back on.
Vick.
Yes.
Katie Vick. Yeah, that was a good time to turn away. Uh, that
Yeah.
was
Yeah. I turned it off for I think
understandable.
all of 2 weeks, but yeah, I mean that would. I mean that
Yeah,
I screwed your
greatest.
brains out. Okay,
Yeah.
that was funny. Now you could look back and be like, all right, not necessarily
Eh,
funny, but
It's really not funny.
no,
yeah,
it's still terrible.
It, it's
it's
it's funny, and
corny.
like I can't believe they were stupid enough to do something like that. Funny.
Mhm. And now this is the guy, the head of creative for WWE.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Hmm.
good Reverend,
Yeah.
spill some knowledge on us.
A couple of thoughts. I mean, yeah, everything you said, and I remember you texted after I heard about what happened. I lost all interest in watching this show, and I think I told you something to the effect of, "That is an entirely reasonable and sane response to what they did on camera," and I
Guys,
still
we
think that.
we watch pro wrestling. Are we really that sane?
No,
Come
that's
on.
true. Well, that brings me to the other point, which is, you don't. Everybody has their own personal line, and so I'm not gonna I'm not going to challenge anyone's personal line. I will say, in the context of the Hangman and Swerve story, this is not the first time you've used the phrase, this feels like it's going a little too far. It's not the first time you've shared that sentiment. And it made me think, well, yeah, normally this is something where you'd see a lot of punching, a lot of hitting, maybe swinging some objects. And everything that Swerve and Hangman have done in this story, it seems to have been trying to, how do I put it? I don't want to make it sound more artistic than it is, but almost redefining what brutality is. Not having watched that match, all I could think to myself is, well, where the hell do you get a syringe? Because it's like, all right, if you're injecting somebody with something, maybe that would be the story. Like, oh, he's like a paralytic, so now he can't move, and you're going to hit him with the chair, and that's the end of the match. Maybe that's a little. I mean, that's something you usually see on a TV show or in a movie. I don't know. But whatever it was, it sounds like Hangman has been pushed to psychopathic depths. And so he's going to do some stuff that he might not have done 2 years ago, or that anybody would never do, except Moxley. But that's what it is. And I'm curious to see it, to see the context, but also, yeah, it's pretty freaking brutal. And it made me think of all those other matches that maybe when I was younger, that was maybe I'd catch a match, I'd be watching a match, and that would be the match. My mom would walk in the room and say, "Okay, no more of this wrestling for a while. Oh, not till you're older," like that kind of thing. Because I think
Is that
that's
what
what
happened, Jason?
happens.
Did your
I
mom tell you
think
couldn't
that,
watch the
then I
AEW show?
moved out, and I finally got my own place, and I could watch as much as I wanted.
Bro,
Um,
bro,
but
that's pretty interesting that
yeah, I
she
was 32.
she
Um,
no 32, Jesus. Uh, no, the fact that you said that she was like, all right, maybe this has gone a little too far. My mom just flat out was like, no, I don't want any pro wrestling on, to the point that she would ground me by taking the cable and disconnecting it from
yes,
my TV. And whenever
yes.
Monday Night Raw was on, I would jump up into the closet where the cable was, grab it, hook it up to the box, watch Monday Night Raw. As soon as over, I threw it back up there.
Okay, to
It,
be fair, I am glossing. I'm putting some makeup on these stories to make it sound a little more measured. Like there was a more measured response. Like
So you
somebody
lived
didn't
at home
just,
till you were
you're a man
40?
of God. Be honest.
yeah, oh, it's not like somebody. I'm not saying that she just walked in and unplugged the TV and then gave me the look that not to ask and continue asking or protesting. It's not that, but I'm just saying maybe it wasn't, oh, maybe not. No, I grew up in a Caribbean house. No, there was no maybe. It was yes or no. But the fact is, yes. And I think at times you mentioned the Katie Vick thing. Yeah, a lot of people were like, okay, that's enough for me. A lot of people turned off their TVs at that point or changed the channels. So, yeah, I think there are times when this comes up. I didn't realize that somebody had done the plastic bag thing before.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to come up with something original. I guess a
Well,
syringe
there's
is
nothing new under the
original.
sun. Let's face
Yeah,
it. It's all been
that's
done
what I'm thinking.
before.
I'm guessing the syringe is the most original thing that's been done to a person in a while, and I'm kind of disappointed it just didn't lead to a story of Swerve like being hooked on smack or something.
I thought not necessarily in AEW. I thought this needle thing had been done before, maybe in
Really?
GCW or something.
Oh
But
yeah, that's true.
but
GCW.
but
Yeah, that's possible.
but in the context of Moxley with doing that to Danielson,
That's weird.
like that was it. That was the part that was weird. Like, you know what? It would have been funny if Moxley went over to Justin Roberts and said, "Give me a freaking tie. Give me your freaking tie." And tied that around Bryan Danielson and choked him. Because then he would have been like, oh,
Yes.
yeah, summer,
So why
NXT.
do you think they turned? I have a theory on why they turned on Danielson, and I think it has to do with retirement matches.
Probably.
I think he wants to face Claudio. I think he wants to face Pac. I think he wants to face Moxley before he retires.
I think so.
So the way to do that is to have the Combat Club and him break up.
Yes.
Now,
Possibly.
Moxley's logic is good. Like, I don't have a problem with what he's doing, but I think the execution was. I don't think they needed the bag.
Yes.
Yeah. Also,
you got soft, so I'm going to try to suffocate you. What the?
You got soft is a weird flex. Like a couple weeks after somebody wins the top title in the company,
because it wasn't going to.
Moxley wants the belt,
right? I want the belt.
They had a mission though that they were going to change the wrestling world, and by Bryan making it about himself and his retirement, he got soft. That's what he was going for.
Okay, that is good.
But to suffocate him for it, I'm like, all right, come on.
But on the other hand, let's give AEW some props for trying to use actual booking and storylines rather than just throwing out super matches all the time.
That's true.
And this is could be a long-term angle.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think he gets the Claudio or Pac. I think the Nigel McGuinness match, which was announced later in Dynamite.
Yeah, can we talk about that as soon as you?
Yeah, I think that match being at least hinted at because he's got to be medically cleared. Okay, medically cleared. Yeah, okay.
And bag over his head. What are you okay? Okay, you're medically cleared.
Yeah.
Can you breathe?
How you feeling?
Yeah, I mean the clip where they showed Moxley backstage, cutting that promo afterwards, and then you see Bryan Danielson getting carried out. That was like, oh, that was pretty good. That was
couldn't even get him a stretcher.
Yeah, they got to carry him out. That's because Tony Khan blew his load on the Final Countdown theme song.
That's right.
But, yeah, I'm gonna forget my thought if I don't get it out. I probably did.
Well,
that being said, Nigel McGuinness getting announced. Which Nigel, if you watch Collision, and I haven't watched Collision much in the last several months, I've been open about that. But Nigel is always ripping on Danielson. How much?
Yes.
So you had to figure that there's a possibility that if Nigel got cleared, turns out he could have been wrestling for a while now.
Even his logic for entering that match at All In was anything it would take to keep that belt off of Bryan Danielson. Like that was his logic for doing it. And I thought that was kind of, all right, good, consistent.
I missed that one. But be that as it may, the fact that they announced this match kind of cold out of the blue on 2 weeks' notice, granted, if you were watching Collision, you knew it was probably going to come to that. And then Moxley, let's be honest, Moxley facing Darby Allin. And I got a gripe about Darby Allin putting his title shot on the line. It's the stupidest freaking thing I've ever heard. And Darby's not the first that's done stupid shit like that. It's happened in both major companies, so whatever.
Classic wrestling trope.
Yeah. But the fact that let's be honest, I think all three of us can agree it's going to be Moxley versus Danielson at Wrestle Kingdom. which is in Tacoma, Washington, right down the street from Bryan Danielson's hometown. I still think that might be Danielson's last match.
Okay,
Could
can I ask
be.
you a question though about
No
this?
question.
Well, too bad.
I think Rob wanted to lead into something, so he
No, go ahead.
Okay, and we kind of talked about this a little earlier. What the hell does number one contender mean in 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 this scenario? Because you had Moxley come out and say, "I want the number one contender spot. I want the title shot. I'm gonna, as a matter of fact, I want it so bad. I'm gonna fight you, one of the few people I respect and like in this business, Darby Allin. I'm gonna fight you for it." Okay, so there's meaning to that. And then I'm calling Bryan Danielson out. I want to fight him for the title at the next show.
Are you talking about Nigel McGuinness?
Yeah.
It's a
No, he wants to
non-title
talk to
match.
Tony Khan.
It's not title. Okay, that's
the title's
well,
not on.
even then.
It's a
Okay,
non-title
okay,
match.
that's important.
Because they're fighting for the number one contendership. So
Right.
right now there is no number one contender, even though they could have
Okay.
put Christian in there.
Right.
But
He's kind
whatever.
of the
But that's
eternal.
but
He is the number one
Nigel
contender.
McGuinness is a non-title match.
Okay, that's big, and that was not clear to me at the time
Yeah, it
because I
wasn't
was
clear to
like,
me either. I had to double check, but it's a non-title.
yeah, because the way it felt to me was, well, why is he going? Why is Mox going through all this trouble? It seems like all he had to do was just show up and
Right.
say, "I'm going to fight him."
And more importantly, how is Nigel jumping the line? This guy hasn't wrestled in how many years?
Right. I
So
mean,
he's
still,
not.
it's amazing that we're going to get. We have a potential Nigel McGuinness Bryan
Now there's
Danielson
a
match in
rumor that
2024. That's
there's a
amazing.
rumor that it's not the match isn't going to happen. They're going to hold it off till the next time they're in England.
That's fine too.
So Nigel will be wrestling in his home, in his home country. But
that might be his retirement match.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but that's a rumor I heard.
Hmm.
So, any final all-out thoughts? Because I know we want to get on to, we got a couple other topics we want to hit. So, if anybody got any last thoughts?
No, I made it clear. I was all out.
Yeah, I'm glad that they somehow managed to put on that good show, and
that he didn't watch.
I did not see. Live.
I mean, look, I would certainly, if I was going to pick matches, if you wanted to just jerry pick, I would definitely watch the Trios Championship match, the four-way match, and I would watch Strickland Page. And just maybe if you don't want to really watch, how it ends, you don't really have to watch the end. But it was a good match up to that point.
By the way, Okada's reaction on Dynamite when he did the fake crying and basically then said it was so easy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Okada Takeshita match. By the way, that's gonna be fun when we get that. But yeah, also props to Okada. He's really he seems to have been made that adjustment now. So good for him.
Well, I mean, considering he doesn't speak English very well, he's getting his point across.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a lot more physical comedy and which give him credit. I mean, you knew that was going to be an issue when he came over, that he couldn't really interview. And he's playing up his heel persona to the nines, and I love it. So good for him.
Yeah. What else do we have on the docket today?
Well, I mean, let's get right into the PWI 500, right? Because we know that was released earlier this week. And if you will allow me, I will run off the top 10 and we can start giving our thoughts. So number 1, Cody Rhodes. Number 2, Swerve Strickland. He swerves when he drives. So I heard. Will Ospreay, number 3. Seth Rollins, number 4. Naito, number 5. Damian Priest, number 6. MJF, number 7. John Moxley, number 8. Gunther, number 9. And Mystico, Mystico, number 10. Sorry, he probably tripped over the magazine as it got delivered to his house, but whatever. Okay, so there's your top 10. So let's start off, Reverend. Any thoughts, problems, issues with top 10?
Um, I wouldn't call it a problem because if you're in the top 10, I mean, that's a big deal on its own. Out of 500, top 10 is a big deal. But I'm kind of surprised to see Gunther not in the top, say somewhere between 5 and 7. And
I
that's
would
the
argue he should
only
be
gripe.
in the top 3.
That is arguable. I
The man
think
lost
so. I
one
mean,
match all year, didn't he?
yeah, he lost at WrestleMania. That's
One
it.
match.
That
One match.
and so yeah, top 3 actually would make sense. And if he was number 3, I don't think anybody could argue it. I you got your top 2 guys. They're top 2 people in in the 2 largest companies right now, so that makes sense. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I didn't know. Like, okay, I'm not gonna pretend I know what Mystico was doing. What I do know is if my name was Samoa Joe, I might be a little pissed off because he's number 11. Um, I maybe I was surprised with Seth Rollins, but their reasoning for it, I guess, made sense because of the wins that he had during that run. But I still, man, yeah, I put Gunther up there, up higher. That's really it though. Everybody else, you know, did awesome. I think in this past calendar year, so good for them.
Encyclopedia, what do you got?
I I think I agree with Jason in that Gunther could be higher up. I think I guess I would have him at maybe 4 or 5.
I was just going to say that I think 4 is, looking at this list, I think 4 is appropriate.
Yeah, the thing I think
Yeah,
which makes me wonder if this is why he was down at number 9. I feel like, and this is a thing with current WWE now, I feel like there's a lot of wrestlers that they'll get a reaction after their match is about 5 or 10 minutes in. It's like the Greg the Hammer Valentine days. The joke used to be taking 15 minutes to get hot, to get a good match out, to have a good match. I feel like Gunther. I don't feel like the fans reacted to him, and except for the fact of that he had that long, historic Intercontinental title reign. I know I don't agree with that because I like Gunther, but I just noticed like, your Johnny Garganos and Tommaso Ciampas and like guys like that, they come out, doesn't seem like they get much of a reaction until the match is going. So I'm wondering if that hurt Gunther because I didn't feel like the fans really started booing him really until towards the end of this time frame that they were analyzing.
like the
The
Chad Gable stuff. Like when he got to that point.
Was that even? Yeah, I guess that was in the last year. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rob, remind us the time period for this, because I know it's usually like a June to end of June. It's like a July to June or something like that.
Let me check. It's usually on the first page when they tell you.
Yeah, trying to check that myself. I got to say though, the photos of Cody with the PWI T-shirt, it just looks so cheap.
Mm-hmm. Where did I find the page with the rules on it? Here, it's
It does look like they
evaluation.
photoshopped his head on.
It does.
It does on the first one, yeah.
Evaluation period is August 1st, 2023 to July 31st, 2024.
Okay, so thank you, and this goes into my second point. While I don't contend that Moxley and MJF are probably, I'd say, I'm not a huge Moxley fan. I'd say top 20 for him, but I don't have an argument with him being in the top 10. But what I'm seeing here, Moxley and MJF, they were out for several months during this marking period. So wouldn't that, by virtue of them not really wrestling the entire year and being out for a considerable amount of time, should they really be top 10?
Well, here's the problem with Moxley, though. If you look at his achievements, he wrestled all over the world and he won titles all over the world.
Which is probably the same reason why Naito's in here, because the Naito, every time I remember seeing him on AEW, and I don't recall him being that successful there.
Well, he's running. He's the top star of New Japan right now.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Naito.
and that's
And he
why
beat Moxley
Right.
to regain that title.
I could let it slide in that I don't watch New Japan, so be it. I mean, I can make the argument against Mystico, but I won't, because quite frankly, I just haven't seen a lot of his work. I don't watch a lot of the stuff he's on.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought Moxley and MJF were out for a chunk of the time frame that was being analyzed. So how did they make top 10? Because I feel like if you're out for a while, how do you know what I'm saying? Like,
but if you look at the criteria, right?
Okay.
It's in-ring achievement, wins and losses, influence, technical
Mhm.
ability, competition, and activity. Minimum 10 singles. So I mean, they had more than 10 singles matches.
They had a criteria over the years because it wasn't that many
So
items.
whereas I hear your point, and I don't think you're wrong. I would argue that Moxley did a lot in the time he wrestled, because he was still doing plenty of independent matches. And if you look at what he did, he won New Japan, and he fought. He was wrestling at Bloodsport. So I mean, he did a lot through the course of the year. I mean, if I look at Mystico and I look at what he did, I'm like, it looks like a 50, around number 50 type record, not number 10.
So how do you feel about number 37 then?
Well, I mean, again, I don't think he wrestled enough. He didn't wrestle 10 matches in the course of in that year, did he?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so, but
So
he made the list.
they were high-profile matches, but
right, but
big names.
Tell me he wrestled more matches than Samoa Joe.
Right.
Or or let me find someone after him. Let me do
Samoa Joe's another one. Yeah, he had a 4-month title reign, but as soon as that title reign was over, he hasn't done much of anything.
He's been they put him out. The Hangman Page is after him. Carmelo Hayes, Rey Mysterio, Claudio, Kevin
Rey
Owens,
Mysterio
Randy
in
Orton.
the top 50 is amazing. At this stage, Rey Mysterio in the top 50.
I mean, he was U.S. champion for a long period of time in there.
3 months.
That's a long period.
It's a quarter.
Logan Paul held that belt a lot longer than Rey Mysterio. Granted, he only defended the title twice.
That's what I'm saying. I don't. He should not be ranked at all, in my opinion. He didn't wrestle enough matches, and he's a scumbag on top of it. So I mean,
no, he's playing his character.
Yeah.
Is he that good an actor?
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at the next. So we have Samoa Joe at 11, Drew McIntyre at 13, Bryan Danielson at 14, Eddie Kingston at 20, Mustafa Ali
at 19. That's a big deal. That guy started getting titles the minute they put him out at a company. Good for him. That's hard to do. I think Cardona was maybe the only one who made it into the top 20 after leaving WWE to that effect.
I feel like Ali should be lower than guys like Eddie Kingston.
Yeah,
and
I think he's again in around the 50s. I don't see how he's this high in this list.
Agreed.
Okada at 21, the former Dolph Ziggler at 22, who probably was in the hundreds the last time he was ranked. Let's see, he's ranked
393.
393. He's now 22.
Well, Naito wasn't even ranked last year, although they did joke that they forgot
him. Yeah.
Like, how do you forget to include him? Like, really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you do that. That's embarrassing. Zack Sabre Jr. at 33, Hangman at 42.
Yo, you jumped over a bunch of.
Well, I mean, we're not gonna name everybody. I'm just trying to throw out some names.
You didn't mention L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Okay. Joe Hendry is at 51.
You got
that's going to change.
Come on, Christian Cage 29. Ilya Dragunov at 30. Look at all these guys you're jumping over because you don't like them.
Do you want to just read the entire list? Because that's what it sounds like you're doing.
No, you jumped over a bunch of big names. That's all.
I'm just skipping around.
Okay.
Jack Perry is 59. I'm trying to see if there's any surprises as we go further down. Ricochet at 63.
I thought Orton and KO in the 50s was kind of surprising.
You guys are missing the most important.
Dirty
Dom at 69 which had
That's
to be on
low.
purpose.
No,
I think
Oh.
69 is just the number for Dirty Dom. They did that on purpose. They knew what they were.
Good call.
He's rated 69. His mustache is rated 72.
Is that what we're calling Santos Escobar now?
Oh, wow.
No, Liv is his beard.
Oh, Lordy.
Matt Cardona 77.
He was injured a lot too. That's actually pretty good for him.
Ethan Page 75 is actually. I feel like Ethan Page didn't really do anything until like towards the end of this market period.
Chris Jericho 90. Wheeler Yuter 86. Daniel Garcia 87.
How the fuck is Hook 83?
The cold-hearted handsome devil?
He should be higher than that.
Well, he defends a fake belt. I mean, come on.
No.
Jacob Fatu at 94.
Yeah, that's gonna change next year.
That's good. Yeah, I was gonna say. Number 95, the guy who's bouncy, Javon Evans from NXT. How the hell did he get that high?
Our first woman at 99, Jessica Troy.
Okay, so you went past 97, Darby Allin. How is Darby Allin that low? I think he'd be much higher up than that.
I think because he got hit by a bus.
I heard the bus wants a rematch.
Sure it does.
Matt Riddle at 96.
Which I hear rumors that he might be back to WWE soon.
Well, they asked him about it. He said, I think he's on record as saying, if CM Punk could sue the company, run him down for a decade, then join the competition and come back, it's possible.
Yeah, he showed no ownership of why he got fired to begin with. He basically said, "Oh, I am who I am," and blah. I was like, and people up there change who they are just to keep a job, and I was like, shut up, bro. I mean, he hinted that he's made some mistakes, but he also said, "I am who I am." And I was like, all right, bro, that's not helping your case. I mean, the fact that Tony Khan scoops up all the WWE cast-offs, and I know Rob's got 3 guys that he wants to talk about when we have some time, maybe later this episode. The fact that those 3 are potentially getting contracts and Riddle wasn't even talked to by AEW, I think is very telling.
Nakamura at 109, Jay White at 110.
Jay White's fallen far, hasn't he?
Well, Jay White doesn't wrestle in singles matches anymore, really.
I was gonna say
112. Yeah.
I was gonna say Adam Cole's probably not on this list because I think he's been injured pretty much the whole time period.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what is an Effie?
You never heard about Effie?
You never heard of him?
No.
I heard of him.
Yikes.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, he's a big GCW guy.
I don't really follow that.
Yeah.
So I never seen him. Wow.
And I feel like in terms of indies, GCW is
he's got a dad bod.
There.
Yeah, he's got a cult-like following. Well, what's his name? Made it to the WWE roster years ago with Dabs, but James.
Storm?
No, not James Storm. The guy is like said, as long as you got 2 fists, you got a fighting chance. Or something like that. The one that helped Carmella win Money in the Bank.
Jake Manning?
No. Jake Manning's the Man Scout. No. I'll check Wiki.
Yes.
Go on. I'll get back to. We don't want to hold the people up over me.
Ray Phoenix is at 135.
Minoru Suzuki at 131. A guy I traveled to watch wrestle, and has been still wrestling all over the world.
James Ellsworth.
That's right, Ellsworth. Ellsworth. Is that a dad bod? I don't even know if his counts as a dad bod.
He had a cadaverous body. Bronson Reed, 144.
That's semi-surprising, but I guess they feel like he's only starting to get a reaction now.
He is.
Roosh
something about Bronson Reed.
Who'd you say at 150?
Roosh.
Roosh.
At
who cares?
at 160.
That's too high for him. I'll
Yeah,
talk about it.
Bronson
That-
Reed is interesting.
Mhm.
Just to take it back to him, because I didn't realize that he was in line for possibly taking down Seth Rollins at one point. Wasn't sure, but that was when his push would have started, like to actually start trying to get him over. But you know what happened? He had a kid, so then you didn't see him for like 3 months, and so now it just started. So that's interesting. So I wonder if by next year, this time, you'll see him have moved up like, I don't know, 50 spots.
Sheamus 172.
Mm.
Dijak 181.
So not a
Really?
not a big name, but Charlie Dempsey, the son of William Regal's at 167. I guarantee in years he'll be in top 50.
Yes.
Nick Wayne 190.
Whatever.
That's way too high.
Powerhouse Hobbs at 186. Is he going to be back anytime soon?
Yeah, I just read something that said he's been backstage, so he's getting closer. They're trying to figure out what to do with him.
Okay.
Pete Dunne 195.
Andrade at 196.
Andrade.
Bobby Lashley at 197. What? And he was 19 last year.
Wesley at 208.
By the way,
Tony
PW.
D'Angelo at 202.
That's
Danhausen.
low.
203 Danhausen.
Good.
We need more Danhausen.
Yeah, we do. Although
Very
that's
nice.
a big jump from where he was the year before. He was 453 the year before.
That's true.
216 Ludwig Kaiser.
That's surprising.
Oh, he'll be moving up soon.
Oh yeah. Dragon Lee 219. Well, he was
Frankly,
off and
sucks.
on. Wow,
Wow.
Damn. When did he piss in your Cheerios?
Yesterday.
Oh, well, I mean, as long as you know when.
All right, that's fair.
Hey man, you asked a question. Tom Tonga 229.
Look at 233. I'm surprised he even made the list. Has he actually wrestled?
Racked
Let's
up single
see.
victories over Akira Tozawa. I could beat him. Come on.
I don't know. That dude's pretty cut. You might want some help.
Made his imposing presence felt in the men's Royal Rumble match and the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I barely remember him being in either one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a nothing.
A joke.
Brian
Cage at 243. That's surprising.
Wardlow 246.
Yeah, but he's like disappears like for long periods of time. Like what happened to him now?
I don't know. We got nothing for you.
Hologram is at 247.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know he wrestled before he got to AEW.
Yeah, it says, in the U.S. and Mexican independence.
He was always Hologram.
That's great that you could read.
Huh?
I mean,
you literally said
it
on the U.S. and Mexican independence, which is word for word what it
right.
said.
Well, that's where I got it from, dumbass. What do you think? What do you think? I made it up? You think I follow hologram?
No, it was the way you said it. It was like you knew, and I was like, wait, he just read it off the screen.
Aren't we all just reading off the screen?
Totally. Austin Theory at 257.
How long till
Johnny Gargano 259.
Hey, former guest Brandon Kirk 258. Good for him.
All right.
Have to bring him back on and talk to him about that, right?
What's he before?
He's
197.
Ciampa 265. Grayson Waller 261.
Jeez. Waller that low. Wow.
Are you surprised no one scooped Cameron Grimes up?
Yes.
I thought he had signed with somebody.
I'm trying to see if he's on this list. Lance Archer 275. Loser.
You know, it'd be interesting is if Cameron Grimes or what's his name, Trevor Lee, if he ended up back at TNA and then ended up back on NXT because of it.
That would be it. That would be funny.
I mean, who would have ever thought, what's his name, Zach Carter would have been back on NXT?
That's true.
The Miz 281, 282 Kofi.
It's really sad when Lance Archer's ranked higher than you, who you never see, and the Miz is on every week.
Xavier
And he
Woods
was a
299.
tag team champion.
Mm.
Yeah,
Wow,
but he
yeah,
loses singles matches.
Xavier Wood. Oh, you're right, because they got tag team lists now. All right, that makes more sense, because I was like, how did Woods get 299? That's really bad for him.
Yeah.
Because it says Wheel of Fortune champion. That's how.
I watched that episode.
Oh, well, it was it good?
Karrion Kross 312.
It was entertaining, but I think Natalia was on it, so how entertaining could it be? It was like an entire week tournament.
Kill Switch 317.
He doesn't wrestle that often.
That's true.
He's a lackey.
Karrion Kross actually moved up.
Sad.
Karrion
Well,
Kross needs to shave his head. He looks ridiculous with hair.
I actually don't mind the hair. I just think his character is kind of and I like the guy.
Dirty Dango at 344.
Nice.
Oh, the brother of Corey Graves, Sam Adonis, is at 321.
Soon to be Bloodline member Zilla Fatu is at 339.
Is that a prediction?
Probably a spoiler.
Never even heard of this guy until you mentioned his name.
Zilla, you never heard of Zilla Fatu?
Nope.
Oh, they've been talking about him for a couple years now.
There's 100 freaking Fatus out there, it seems.
That's true.
It's like being the Hart family now.
352, Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks.
That's amazing for never being on television.
Well, he was for the first half of this market period. Maybe 2/3 of it.
Yeah. 2/3.
Hey, Alexis King, number 368. Last year, no line. So he's already doing better than he did in AEW. Oh my God! By the way, Jay, I know Rob didn't watch. Did you watch NXT this week?
Yes.
Did you see? It was worse than when I colored my beard.
Oh my God! Yeah, the beard.
It looked like they took a marker to his face. I was like, what the hell?
Drawn with a Sharpie.
Oh my God, that was terrible. Rob, it was so bad. You gotta find a clip of it.
It's so bad that I hope he keeps it.
Lexus King, he has.
Lexus King.
Yeah, his beard. He was like actually getting the beard touched up this week when Ora Menza attacked him, but it looks so penciled in and markered in. I was like,
boy,
oh my God.
Moving NXT really did something for his career, huh?
I mean, he's getting TV time and mic time.
He was getting TV time on AEW.
No, not that much.
No,
not like he's getting
legit TV mic time.
He got any better as a wrestler?
I think he's getting there. I mean, look, how long was I bashing Last Legend that she'd never be anything? She's turned it around like overnight. Like it went from
overnight.
She went from suck to really good, like in back-to-back weeks. It was crazy.
I had a girlfriend like that. You walked right into that one. Dustin Rhodes, 393.
Good for him.
Who is Cheeseburger?
Oh, you never seen Cheeseburger?
He used to wrestle in Ring of Honor.
Oh yeah,
I've seen him on the indie. Oh, who was the guy? Who was the guy that we saw, Rob, that one time for Russell Pro? Was that he was like a hot dog? You remember the hot dog costume guy?
No.
Oh my God, I forgot his name. He was hilarious.
Yeah, Cheeseburger used to wrestle with Ring of Honor.
Oh.
For a long time. I think he's a military guy.
He's still around. I'm surprised. Yeah. I mean, he's on the list. I'm surprised you never saw him, Jay.
Maybe I have.
Now we're getting down to the bottom here. Madman Fulton.
Who?
Madman Fulton. I've heard of him. He wrestles in the some independents. Sean Spears, 416.
Well, he hasn't done it. Ivar at 424 with the run he had for a while.
Where was he before though?
Apparently
not listed. So
he was also injured.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is he wasn't listed at all before that. He cracked the 500 is good. I would still would have had him higher.
I don't know
But
about that. I was gonna say he had quite a good singles run going.
yeah,
I think this is way. I think that's a mistake. That's way too low.
if he hadn't gotten hurt, he'd still be making some noise. I feel bad for both him and Eric. Like injuries just keep getting in the way.
I know. I feel bad for Eric because look at who he's married to.
412 Journey
He's
2.
happily
We have
married
another
with a kid. Jeremy.
Journey, I said.
Oh, Journey.
What number?
412.
Okay.
412.
I blew past all that.
Brother of Jacob. Ivar 424.
Yeah, we were just talking about him. In case you weren't paying attention.
I wasn't.
Oh.
Fair.
I mean, you're remarkably honest tonight.
Go fuck yourself.
And
hey, look,
and giving with your true feelings.
Look, number 447, the former fiance for Bailey, Aaron Solo.
Really? Was he?
Oh yeah, they were engaged for years.
Did he fumble the bag, or did it just like fall apart?
They mutually decided their goals were too far apart.
In other words, she was successful and he wasn't.
Basically, that's the way I looked at it.
Baron Corbin 453.
Maki Ito 456.
Good for her that she made that list. Wow.
That is awesome. The other half of the match that I flew across the planet to go see.
Did you really go over knowing you were going to see them?
Yeah, I did. It was her versus it was her versus I can every time I want to say his name I can never remember it. Murder Grandpa, dude. Moxley's friend.
Murder Grandpa.
That's his his nickname. Murder Grandpa is his nickname. It is
Tony Nese 479.
Yeah, whatever.
Johnny TV 472. Jeez.
Wow. Minoru Suzuki.
Further.
Jeez.
Sport losing win percentage for most evaluation period, which lowers rank for the year. So he's not even winning matches anymore.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Apparently people 3 miles from me are saying that there was another minor aftershock. It's only been 6 months.
And lastly,
can they last
at 500, we have someone called Memes.
I think memes.
Looks like
Blue Cane.
Blue Cane.
Oh, good for him. He has like a real nice, like an underground fan base. Good for that
multiple
dude.
Championships in his native UK, and then became the obsession and brief yardstamps of Matt Cardona. I don't wonder why. Blue Cane.
I think if I remember, Cardona was doing this whole thing on the internet, just basically blaming him for what Kane did to him in WWE when he shoved him off the ramp.
So I scrolled past the 500. Roman didn't even get ranked.
Well, no, they said why. They said he didn't wrestle enough.
But Logan Paul did.
I know, which is really weird. I think they're going to end up correcting that next year. And say, we screwed that up.
Yeah. I mean, God, he was on the TV more than Logan Paul was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Gotta respect the tribal chief, man. Come on. Roman Reigns. All right, here it is. Yet these rankings don't capture the entire picture. Consider the wrestlers on a part-time schedule who don't meet the minimum activity threshold. 6 singles matches in 6 months.
6 in 6 months? Logan Paul didn't wrestle them.
I say Logan Paul didn't have 6 matches in 6 months.
I don't think he's had 6 matches in a year.
You know what? I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check Cage Match.
Okay.
Settle this right now because something doesn't.
Because you don't wrestle on the house circuit, right? I mean, he only does pay-per-views. So.
I didn't think so.
I think he wrestled once on TV during that run, or during his current run. But
I think it was against the Miz.
I don't.
Yeah, I call bullshit on that one.
Okay. Meanwhile, Roman Reigns gave you 2 matches at the same WrestleMania. Come on, man.
You know what?
He did?
What was the time period? He did.
I closed the file. Jesus Christ.
Hold on.
Sorry.
I think I
We
got
could probably
that
Google
back.
it.
No, I can. I just have to reopen it.
No, it's fine. Hold on. The list is determined through the criteria like win, loss, record, championship status for the promotion, overall wrestling ability, and I think you said influence.
Mhm.
Yes.
But yeah, it's the time period we were looking for, which
Yeah, hang on.
is
I have it in a second.
I
sorry.
just saw it too.
Hold on,
Yeah.
I'll have it in a second. I just gotta get past Cody. It is August 1st to July 31st.
Okay, so he had one. Yeah, he did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He had 9 matches.
9.
Oh,
However, was it 6 in 6 months? You said.
Yeah, 6 in 6 months.
Yeah. You know what got him through? From January from the Royal Rumble till a Money in the Bank qualifier probably got him through.
That
He
was
just
TV match.
you know what?
He just made it.
King and Queen of the
Just
Ring
made
is
it.
what. Yeah, he just made it because he has. Yeah, so to run it down, Royal Rumble he defeated KO by DQ. 3 weeks later on SmackDown he won an Elimination Chamber qualifier against The Miz. Then he was in the Elimination Chamber. So there's 3. WrestleMania was 4. King and Queen of the Ring was 5.
Jason, do you need to take your shoes off to do 6?
I mean, I could go in a different direction, but we might get booted off YouTube.
Hey now, this seems like weak sauce because
Reverend, that seems very unreverend-like.
well,
But it would be a spiritual experience. Sorry.
That's what the chicks say, right?
Yeah, this is he. I don't know if I agree with this because the first match in this 6-month so-called period would have been the Royal Rumble on January 27th, and match number 6 would be June 28th.
Wow, cutting it close.
I don't know about that.
Oh, it's to July 31st, right? So I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
With a month to go, I guess that's
August
what
1st
counts.
to July 31st.
Yeah.
I still don't think he's ranked too high.
Yeah.
I mean, he had great matches as much as we hate to admit it.
Ugh.
All right.
So guys.
So there's your PWI 500 for the year.
Yeah.
Cody being number 1. I don't think anybody had any issues with that. I think we had issues with some of the other numbers.
No. Yeah.
So, anything else we want to talk about?
Yes.
Yeah. So Monday Night Raw has been announced. The last 3 months on USA Network before Netflix, it's going down to 2 hours. Which I got a big smile on my face when I saw that and thought, thank God, 12 years, 3 hours. But
I'm gonna get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, but for 3 months, it's debatable whether Netflix is going to be 2 or 3 hours. Although I did hear a theory that it might actually be it might more be for Netflix based on whatever time they need. I would say with the amount of superstars you have on Raw, 2.5 is more than enough. I would not. I hope they don't go back to 3, especially because we don't know what the ads are going to be like in Netflix. But I think 2 hours. I'm really going to enjoy those 2-3 months. But what do you guys think when they hit Netflix? It's 2 hours, 2.5, 3, less than 2. What do you guys think is ideal?
If you give 2 hours of commercial-free Raw, that's fine because it's not a big shift in terms of screen time for people. But that's debatable. I mean, that's the rumor, is that the Netflix version might go commercial free. I don't know if that's sustainable.
And I think that came from Meltzer and Fightful.
Probably. But it got my hopes alive. Just like the 2-hour thing got my hopes alive, you know. It's so we're playing wish list here. Yeah, give me 2 hours of nonstop. Or maybe just one short commercial break. But yeah, that'd be fine. I mean, what? Raw is 3 hours now. You get about 40 minutes worth of commercials. and then you get about 10 minutes worth of recaps during every episode, so it wouldn't be much of a difference. I don't know. What do you think, Devil's Advocate?
I don't understand why they recap. If I'm watching at 9 or I'm watching at 8, I'm still watching at 9. I didn't miss the first hour. I don't know
You
why they
did.
have to do that.
You didn't,
bring
but
it
I've come home at 9, and I've come home at 10.
But now that it's going to be on Netflix, they don't need to do that because you can always just rewind the episode, right?
I
You
don't
want to
mind-
watch it live, though? You want to watch it live.
I don't know. I hate the
Mhm.
recap,
I
especially
don't-
since I've seen it already.
I don't mind recaps at certain times. And actually, they do it so much that I know I am cheap and I don't pay for Peacock because my cable company is Xfinity and they give it to me free, but I get the ad version. So I don't see all those video packages for the upteenth time on the pay-per-view, which I'm totally fine with.
I don't know how I feel about Raw going to 2 hours though, because I feel like with Triple H in charge, they're doing a decent job. The show really doesn't have a lot of lulls.
Hmm.
Like remember we used to when Vince was in charge, the 9 to 10 hour was like death hour.
Yeah.
They used
I
to
want to go to bed, man.
Yeah, I mean they used to put the worst matches, and you used to be like, oh my god, I don't think I can make it to the main event.
Mhm.
And now at least with Rhea and Seth and Sammy and Gunther and all those people, I don't feel like Raw is such a slog anymore. So I'm not gonna be mad if they switch it to 2 hours, but I'm not gonna be upset if they leave it at 3.
Mm.
I think they're doing a decent job with the booking that the show's watchable. Now, would I love no commercials? Yeah, of course. If I have to take 2 hours no commercials, I'm in. But I'm not jonesing for. I mean, I used to be like. I mean, I don't watch Raw live anyway. I watch it on my DVR, and I fast forward over parts that I don't want to watch.
Yeah.
Mm.
So show length really means nothing to me because if there's a when the Zoe Stark team comes out, that name is so stupid, and I really don't care for them.
Oh,
I
Pure
usually
Fusion Collective or some
Yeah.
shit like that. Yeah.
I keep
don't
wanting to
get
say
that either.
Miracle Violence Connection. I know that's not right. That's Steve Williams and Terry Gordy, and they're not the same.
No. Similar
but
interests.
right, yeah, they all. Yeah, never mind. But I don't care for that group particularly, so I usually fast forward over that kind of stuff anyway. And honestly, the Wyatts, I don't really care for them either. So a lot of times I fast forward a lot. I like to watch their entrances, and then the matches are kind of so I just go past them. So, for now anyway. So however long the show is, it doesn't matter to me. I usually cherry pick what I want to watch. I read the results, and then I need to watch that match, or I need to watch this one. I can skip this segment, So whatever they decide, but commercial free would be awesome. Can't argue that.
All right.
I mean, what would you rather see? Encyclopedia? Like, do you want? Are you prepared for 2 hours on USA, 2 hours on Netflix? USA will be with ads.
Even better. I know I'm not always on these shows, and part of it is I just got some other stuff going on. So if I could get an hour back,
Yeah, it's true.
I mean that 1 hour. Let's put it this way: that 1 hour difference, I'm being totally transparent here. I might have been more likely to at least give All Out a shot. Admittedly, while I know the results for Dynamite, I fell short on the tag team gauntlet match. It was about to start when I was playing it back when we were about to hit record for this. Raw was 1 hour less. I got through Dynamite then.
Mm-hmm.
So
there you go.
And who knows? Maybe with that 1 hour back, Rob will actually watch NXT instead. I didn't think so.
I had jury duty this week, and I had time to kill, and I still didn't watch NXT.
They selected you.
No, I didn't
decide the outcome of it.
I didn't actually sit, but I had to go.
It's jury selection.
I mean, I don't know if it was the horns or the pitchfork that gave it away, but they didn't want me on the deciding the fate.
God, I remember sitting through 3 days of jury selection after I think it was Hurricane Andrew. They called us all in, and they were down. We started at like 154. We got down to 35 when they finally dismissed us, who hadn't been axed yet. And I thought, thank God, because it was for an armed robbery, and it had while I didn't live close enough to get thrown out, my in-laws did, and that's what I was going to say, just to be like, oh, well, I don't live there, but my in-laws do. I'm there all the time. Okay, dismissed. Well. So you were sitting through jury selection, and you still didn't have time
Well,
to get through
like
everything.
Monday, I got home early enough that I had time. I could have watched it. I didn't. Tuesday, I was in court all day, so I didn't watch really. And I came home, I was really tired. And then Wednesday, I only had like half a day, and I still got home and still didn't want to watch NXT. So
That's all right.
I guess if I'm in a hospital bed or something and there's nothing else on, I'll probably watch it.
I mean,
Other than
look,
that, I'm not so disposed right now.
yeah, I mean, their shows are good. They're not great. But this week they had a last man standing match, and that last sequence, that was,
Crazy.
huh?
It's kind of crazy.
Kind of crazy and kind of sloppy.
You thought?
Yeah, I mean, you could see that they were like trying to get to the edge of the podium and hadn't realized they weren't there. And then and then he was supposed to do a side Russian leg sweep, and they both happened to just fall backwards instead. And I was like, yeah, I've seen this spot before. And the freaking idiots in that performance center, holy shit. And I'm just like, first off, stop with the holy shit, because they're bleeping out shit every time, and it's annoying the crap out of me.
Yeah, I hate that.
And secondly, it was not that. I'm sorry. It was not. It was sloppy in my mind. I don't think it was necessary.
I've said it once. I'm gonna say it again. Not every match is awesome. Not every move deserves holy shit. People are trying to create moments at shows they're at, and you can't do it. It doesn't work. It has to be a natural kind of progression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
You can feel when a match is awesome. You can't create it. So I have a problem. I can't stand that. I mean, when people are shows like this, it's a TV match, gang.
Yeah.
Okay, come on, take it down a notch. This isn't Rock, Austin, Hogan,
Right.
Andre. This is Chad Gable and whatever. No offense to Chad Gable and whoever, but he's not delivering a 5-star match.
Whoever's been putting in work though, so just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You guys have anything else you want to?
Now we can wrap if you guys are done. I'm good.
I think I'm done. Well, if that's it, then
I'm so glad you're done.
Yeah. All right. Let me just hit the stop button.
All right. So
yes.
That's it for this week's show. We thank you guys for watching. We're not going to say listening because we don't do the audio part anymore. But remember to check us out, Sports Frenzy Pod on Twitter, the Sports Frenzy Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And remember to check out OTBS, our brother podcast with Freddie Aloso and Big E Mafia, especially with the Buffalo Bills big wing over the Miami Dolphins tonight. I'm sure they'll have plenty to talk about on the next episode. We thank you guys for listening. Have a great weekend. Peace.